Hello and welcome to my channel. I know I said I was going to make a lot more videos this summer. I think I also said I was going to make this follow-up video right after my previous video that I posted like maybe a month ago. That was all about self-employed taxes in Canada. And I had every intention of doing that, but I filmed it and I did not like it. Basically, I don't know. It's honestly, it could be because I do wear glasses and sometimes because I have my whole makeup on, I can't put them on because then I get the little indent. Anyways, did not realize I was basically cutting off the top of my head. And then I got busy because I've been busy this summer, which I'm not gonna share too much about, though if you're on my email list, then you already know. You already know. I've been studying for a certain course to get a certain certificate, and it's been taking up all of my time, and I don't wanna talk about it really because I don't wanna jinx it, because sometimes when I talk about things, and then they don't happen, it's embarrassing to say that you failed at something. And I have every intention of passing these exams, but I also just don't want to talk about it. I failed too many driver's tests to know it's best not to talk about it too much. Because then people will ask, how did it go? And then you have to tell them, didn't go well. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna make a video about that if I pass, or maybe if I fail to, probably around October when I'm done both my exams. But in any case, this video is the follow-up to that self-employed taxes video. This one is all about sales tax. We're gonna be talking about GST, HST, RST, PST, and QST, and yeah, all the STs basically, and what you need to know to figure out, do I have to sign up? Do I have to start collecting and remitting it? How do I actually do that? How do I know what sales tax to charge certain customers, where they live? All the stuff that you could possibly think of, I'm gonna talk about in this video. And before I get to my little name sequence thing, make sure to subscribe if you like this channel, because I'm terrible at reminding you and I always leave it to the end, and I know you're not watching till the end because no one is. Make sure to subscribe if you like the channel. Subscribe. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to this video. Okay, let's talk about sales tax in Canada. So exciting. So the first thing you're probably going to want to know is, when do I need to sign up for it or register for it? Like, when am I supposed to? Because I quite honestly ran my side hustle for years and had no idea about sales tax. To be fair though, luckily actually, I never made that much from my side hustle when I was still working my full-time job. But when it became, full-time self-employed, I had to do some research. And I'm gonna share all the things that I know now. So first and foremost, you need to register for a GST HST account and start collecting sales tax from your customers and remitting it to the government once you have exceeded the threshold of $30,000 in total worldwide business revenue, either in any single calendar quarter or one of the last 4 calendar quarters. The important thing to remember really is to make sure that you have an accounting system and you're keeping track of your business revenue. And once you exceed $30,000 in business revenue, buckle up, you're gonna be forced to register for GST, HST. And in case you're wondering when, like the next day, like when, there is a little bit of a buffer. You have 29 days since that effective date to register. So it's honestly super easy. You just do it online. I'm gonna include a link in the description of this video so you can do it easily. If I was able to figure it out with like no know-how about sales tax when I was starting up my business, anyone can figure out how to do it. I promise it is super, super easy. That being said, and I have a little story for you. You don't have to wait until you exceed that $30,000 threshold to start collecting and remitting sales tax. You can register for an account at any point in time if you want, even before you've made your first dollar. Why you would want to do that, I don't know. Why did I do that when I had a business partnership with a friend a few years ago? I don't know. I think at the time I just thought, well, we're gonna clearly become millionaires in a few months, so might as well just register for it early so it's one less thing on my to-do list. We did not become millionaires, and that business no longer exists. The thing is too, once you register for a GST, HST account, you are required to start charging your clients and collecting it, remitting it. But if you don't register for it, you don't have to do that until you hit that $30,000 threshold. And then you only have to collect future sales for sales tax. You don't have to do any retroactive, look in and, contacting old clients. Hey, you owe me retroactively some sales tax. You do not have to do that. It's just on future sales. And super fun, and I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more in this video. So I just mentioned GST, HST. So that really only applies to territories and provinces that only charge GST or HST. But you know, we've got some other fun provinces that like to do things a little bit differently. I'm talking to you, British Columbia, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Quebec. If you serve those provinces, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that actually means, you do also have to register for PST. What is it? PST, so that's British Columbia and Saskatchewan. RST is Manitoba, and QST is Quebec. You have to register for sales tax accounts with each of those provinces if you serve them. So that's one extra fun thing you get to do. So let's talk about who to charge these taxes to. How do you know? And I feel like I had this question for so long, like, how do I know though? It is so not easy to find all this information. It took me a while to really pack it into a blog post that I will link in the description of this video. So if you want to read all this stuff after this video, make sure to check that out. But basically, it has everything to do with the place of supply of your goods and services. But before I get to that, I should mention there's a couple different goods that you could be selling that are actually considered zero rated, either by, for GST, HST. There's a list that I'm gonna, again, another link to include in the description to find out if the goods that you offer are considered zero rated. That means you do not have to charge your customers GST or HST. And those include like feminine products, livestock, some other things that probably, I guarantee you're probably not selling, but you never know. And also those provinces that I listed, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Quebec, they also have their own list of zero rated products. So make sure just to check those out to see maybe you do fit into one of those categories. It's just probably unlikely, but it's good just to check. But if you don't fall into one of those categories, then it has everything to do with the place of supply of your goods and services. So I used this example in my blog post that was basically if you were to sell t-shirts and say your business is operating in Ontario. Great. So if you were to sell a t-shirt to a customer in Ontario, you would charge them HST 13% because that is the tax in Ontario. But let's say your customer was actually based in British Columbia. So they have PST and GST, which is 5% plus 7%, which is 12%. You would charge them that. You would charge them PST and GST, not HST, because the place of supply, the place that you are supplying the t-shirt to, it's in British Columbia, not Ontario. So it actually has nothing to do with what province you live in. It's everything to do with where the place of supply of your goods and services is. Now, if you have a business similar to mine where you maybe offer not like tangible things, but like online things like online courses or financial counseling that's all virtual, it can get a bit... It is not easy to find a straight answer to be like, where's the place of supply? For me, and again, I'm just gonna caveat, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant. I am just a self-employed individual who has done a lot of research on this and runs, my own business that is virtual. For me, I kind of basically use the same kind of principles that I talked about with the t-shirt company. So my online course, even though it was created in Ontario, it is applied to people in lots of different provinces and different countries. And so I charge them the sales tax of that province, or if they're in another country, then I don't charge them any tax. And that brings me to one point I don't think I mentioned before. If you were supplying your goods and services to anyone outside of Canada, for instance, the United States, you do not charge them sales tax, which is actually kind of nice. So it's one little thing that you can always kind of tell them over the phone, or when you're talking to them and they're considering buying something from you, you're like, well, you don't have to pay sales tax because you were outside of Canada. So that's another thing to remember when you are figuring out your sales tax strategy. So in terms of what the percentages are, and because most people probably don't have all of the different, tax rates in Canada memorized like I do, just click the blog post that I mentioned in the description of this video. I have charts of just all the different kind of rates, GST, HST, or PST, in that blog post so you can know. But very well, you can also just use a program that helps you. For instance, like one thing that I've invested in is I use a program called Quaderno. It isn't cheap and they do charge you in USD, so that's super fun. But you can set up all your different sales taxes in there. So when someone buys a product, for example, my online budget spreadsheets where people can download, they put in their postal code. The program finds out based on that postal code where do they reside, and then they are charged their specific sales tax for whatever province or territory that they live in. As another example though, I use a program called Acuity to book my financial counseling clients, and there's no way to link it to Quaderno, and so I basically have to create different kind of product offerings for different people in different provinces. So basically how my kind of business works in a nutshell for financial counseling is, you know, someone books a call, we have a chat, they say they want to book with me, I email them a link, and that link goes to a specific sales page with their specific, you know, province or territory's sales tax. So I have to kind of manually do it a little bit, but it's just, you know, that's just something that you have to do when you're running your own business. So that is kind of it. I'm going to make a follow-up video to this follow-up video to actually show you what I do to keep organized with all of my different sales taxes. Because again, my business is kind of weird in that I have clients, also sell products. I also work with like bigger corporate brands. So I've got a lot of things going on, and I do my own accounting, so I keep all that organized. So I'm gonna do a follow-up video that shows what I do and also what does it specifically look like to not just collect sales tax, but also to remit it to the government. I remember that was like one of the hardest things for me to like visualize and figure out when I was just starting out. I'm like, how do I actually pay it to the government? And then there's a really great thing called input tax credits, which means basically if you're paying any kind of, you know, Canadian, you know, provincial sales tax on business expenses, you actually may get some of that money back if you're collecting sales tax. So I'm gonna get into that in a future video. So buckle up, subscribe. I'm gonna make it soon. I promise I'm not gonna wait another month to do it. I'm gonna make it really soon. But thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe, like I mentioned. Comment below if you have any questions. I've been getting lots of really great questions on my blog post. So I'm sure you have just as many questions as well. And yeah, that's kind of it for me. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video, which will be very soon, I promise.